Hey, this is man-made mead. Today I'm going to be moving my big traditional, which is, roughly about 2 weeks old. It's still kind of fermenting, into a different container, and then we're going to talk about the next steps of this traditional. So the first thing we're going to do, and what you always do after your primary fermentation, which is what's happening here, you're going to rack it over into a new container. So I have everything I have sanitized, with my Star San water, and we're just going to go ahead and auto siphon it into this glass carboy that you see right here. This is a 6-gallon glass carboy, and I don't know how much sediment is at the bottom of this. I might have a little bit extra left over in the bucket, so we'll see from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and while this is going through, and it's also going to be degassing some, which is good. This is not going to be a very clear mead because it is so young that it hasn't had any time to clarify. And you'll notice that when I start to fill it up completely, it'll be kind of interesting to see how that's going. I also, which I can kind of do this all at the same time, I'm going to take a quick gravity reading. We're going to find out where the gravity is. The gravity on this one started at about 1.09, if I'm not mistaken, and it's currently sitting at 1.010. So we're almost finished fermenting. The yeast should absolutely run through every bit of the sugar content in this mead. However, it's just taking a little while. It's a big mead. It's a lot of alcohol content to chew through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this finish racking over, and then I'll be back and we'll talk about the next steps of flavor implementing, however you want to say that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and moved it all out. You can see here there's a little bit left in the bottom, mainly just dead yeast. In the container, in both of these, this is just a little bit that I had left. That's about 1/3 of a gallon. This is all of it right now, obviously very unclear, and it will start to clear up as the yeast stop fermenting and everything goes, or really drops out of suspension. That's what we call it when everything falls down. And I bet it'll finish fermenting completely, probably in a day or two. I did decide to move it out early because I do need space, and I just so happen to have the glass carboy. I prefer to ferment in a glass carboy because honestly it doesn't put off any off flavors, or plastic can sometimes. So what I'll do is I'll put a cork on this one, of course an airlock on both of these, and they will be finishing their fermentation process. Now the next step is talking about what flavors to use. So what I'm going to do, I'd be using a couple different things. I talked about doing an apple pie mead, which I have made before, and I'm going to use this amaretti apple pie flavoring. So this is one of them. I am also going to use, I haven't made a blueberry mead in a long time, and I want to use this amaretti blueberry as well. And I think I want to run a test with blueberries because I haven't done much with it before. I want to use real blueberries. And then I also want to use this amaretti extract of blueberry, and we're going to see not necessarily which is better, but ultimately, if this is going to taste as good as fresh blueberries, this is a whole lot cheaper, and this will cover 5 gallons, where I would have to get 15 pounds of blueberries for 5 gallons of mead. My last one I'm going to use is kind of a cheater. We can make a thing called an Acerglyn in our mead making realm, and that's a mead made with maple syrup. I'm going to use this maple praline in one part of it, and we're going to see how that tastes with everything. Before I add this stuff though, I'm going to make sure that this finishes fermenting, and then we're going to go ahead and add it in different little stages, and I'll have to use little 1 gallon carboys and separate stuff out, and ultimately I think it'll be really exciting. But I do have to also move some stuff around. I think I've got a total of 16 glass carboys, and I'm using all 16 right now. So either, I have some of these that are old that can be moved out. I'll probably need to move some stuff out so I can go ahead and, start new projects. But I'll be back in this next clip with this having finished fermented and hopefully clearing up some. and then we're gonna start adding some flavors. All right, so we're back. It's been a couple weeks and I've had to do some carboy changing, so I'll explain kind of here what's happening. Today we're gonna only really change and add flavor to one of these because I have a feeling that the video will be really long if I do all three, and I actually have a fourth one that I'll talk about here in a few minutes. But today I'm gonna add all three flavors ultimately. The other two are just gonna be separate videos. I'm gonna use this elderberry flavoring from Amaretti into this one. So I have a little taste of just the traditional here. So let's see what it tastes like. It should be floral because we have like that alfalfa honey, of course honey flavor taste. Yeah, that's got a little smoky, interesting smoky flavor to it. Didn't expect that. No, that's great. It's got kind of like a little bit like a tea flavor to it for some reason. I think of, maybe that's the floral side. Maybe that's that tea. I don't know. But that honey character is really nice. And I think it'll balance well with all my other flavors. Now, these flavors are graded. Each one's graded for 5 gallons for the whole thing, for all 8 ounces. Clearly, this is not, I'm not going to use all of my elderberry flavor into this because that would be wasteful and probably too strong of a flavor. So I'm going to add over, basically just like a little bit over time, and I need to get something to stir with. Okay, I got something to stir with, and I sanitized it, went ahead and sprayed it with my Star San water. I've never had elderberries. It smells really good. It's a really interesting smell, and I bet the flavor is pretty good too. This is a brand new mead idea for me. I'm just gonna pour some in, and it's gonna cloudy up this mead quite a bit. The good news is I have plenty more mead if I lose some to sediment, so we'll find out if I need to add some. Ooh, we got a little reaction. One thing I should go ahead and tell you is that because this mead is, the yeast have not stopped fermenting, there will be some re-fermentation, and so that, you know, could be concerning in some ways, but I'm not too worried about it. I can always add more flavor if I feel like I need to. There we go. Okay, normally you put this thing on a drill, but I'm not doing that. I'm gonna stir this in. Oh yeah, and I'm degassing as we're going along. This is kind of fun. Getting lots of action. I'm gonna stir this in and then I'll be right back. All right, so I went ahead and stirred it all up. Obviously it changed the color of the mead and it will continue to as I add more flavor. Ooh, I like that. It's still very close to the traditional. You get a little bit of that berry flavor. I'm trying to get the smell, taste of it. You get a little. Definitely think it needs more to be elderberry. So I'm gonna add some more. At the very end of this, I'll make sure and weigh the container and we'll see how much we've actually used for this 1 gallon. Okay, so here's another quick taste. I've put some more in. I'll get an exact measurement here in a second. Oh, that's it. I noticed that this elderberry has a very floral taste to it, so alfalfa honey plus floral is going to be very floral tasting. You get that you know, berry idea. That's really good. That's gonna be fantastic. I think that yeast are gonna re-ferment a little bit, so I'll be curious to see how much of that flavor is taken away. I can always add more elderberry flavor back to it. So let's go ahead now and talk about the next step. All right, so here's my plan. I'm gonna finish the video here and I'm going to do these other two separately, the blueberry separate as well as this orange cream separate. And I have a third one, or fourth one I should say, that's a little bit different. I have a rose flavor that I wanna try. Now I'm doing them separately because I wanna make sure that each one of these flavors gets a real kind of work through and I can actually talk about them. I don't want this video to be so long that it just gets super boring. So I'm gonna go and cut it here. The next step for this will be watching to see if anything re-ferments. You can watch for a video for this elderberry mead. I'll be doing some updates on it and I'll tell you if it started re-fermenting, how it's changed over time. There's gonna be more content for this. If you wanna check out these flavors, these are all from Amaretti. And Amaretti, again, is a wonderful company that has a bunch of wild flavors, as well as just like pretty normal flavors. And I highly, highly encourage you to check them out. I'm gonna do a quick, before I forget, a quick weighing of this. This is normally 9.2 ounces, including the container. So we're looking at I use 2.2 ounces of this flavoring to get, that makes sense? Only 2? Wow. Okay, yeah, I used about 2 ounces to get the flavoring in here. So if you want to repeat what I'm doing using my alfalfa honey as well as the Amaretti flavoring, 2 ounces. I'll put the recipe here. But go check out the other videos. If you want to see the blueberry mead flavoring with Amaretti, if you want to see the orange cream, that one seems really interesting to me. And then the rose will be over here. So go check out those videos. If you want to check out any of my other content, go down or subscribe, and then make sure you like the video. But also check out the links, and everything down there helps support the channel. You can even be involved more in mead making by checking out my Facebook. We have a community, we have groups, we have a page where we talk about mead making all the time. There's a Patreon, a bunch of other stuff. All that stuff goes to support me, and I really appreciate it, and I hope you will go check it out. So stay tuned for these videos, and I will see you guys in another video. Cheers!